This week, we want you to have a very Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season, and a very wonderful New Year. If you don't have any plans, we're here to hang out with you and have a good time. We also want to reflect on this year and what we've achieved with this podcast. And lastly, we want to talk about our goals for 2024. For the last time in 2023, let's get into it, Half Past Crew. Welcome to Half Past Job. It is almost the end of the year, everybody, and we want you to have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
Oh my goodness, Hallie, what's you?
What's the vine? You remember that girl? She's like, Merry Chrysler! Merry Crispy! Merry Chrysler!
Merry Christmas! Merry Chrysler!
Merry Christmas, everybody. Hello, we're so happy that you're here with us on this fine Monday morning. Hello, hi. Sylvie! We have a message from Sylvie.
Sylvie is really getting on my nerves today.
Hi, Sylvie.
Right,
Food.
Sylvie?
Merry Christmas from the Patel family.
Welcome back to the last episode of 2023.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry for the buzz. I can hear it too, okay? I'm editing it right now, actually, and I hear the buzz, okay? I apologize. I hope you still enjoyed the episode. Just wanted to make sure you guys know there is a buzz and you're not going crazy. Sorry about that.
I can't believe we made it this far.
I can't either.
If you're watching this for the first time, which I don't know how, but if you are, we're an interracial couple. My name is Saketu.
My name is Hallie.
And we drink cha while we spill it on this podcast, all right? And I just want you to know that we release podcasts every Monday, and it's not stopping. Do you know what that means? That means our next episode is on the first day of 2024, baby.
How ironic is that like the two very fun episodes are like on the last two big holidays of the year, which is crazy.
It's insane. So that means you need to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Turn on post notifications because that really matters to us because then it notifies you. Like this video if you're also on YouTube. And if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you subscribe, follow, give us 5 stars because that does help us a ton. All right? So settle in, get a little bit of coziness, and grab your chai and watch this podcast. All right? Sit back and relax. We're taking it easy today. We're on the ground. We're very merry.
We're very cozy.
Cozy?
That's what the holidays should be about, you guys. Like being cozy, being in whatever you want to wear, doing whatever you want to do. That's what we're here to tell you today.
Straight facts.
Facts, baby.
All right, we're already getting into it. My goodness, Hallie's going crazy as she always does during the holiday season. She gets all hyper because she doesn't have to work as hard.
I mean, yeah, rightfully so. Like I have a little bit more energy, because I'm not working on Christmas. How wonderful! It's Monday and I don't have to work today. Amazing.
So, to get into it, we want to take you on a journey. All right. Let's go back to like the very first podcast, which I can't even fathom that we did this on February 6th of 2023, guys.
Welcome to
Half Past Cha.
Look at us. Look at us. This is crazy, everybody. I can't believe we are starting a podcast. If you don't know who we are, my name is Saketu Patel.
I'm Hallie Patel.
And does anyone remember the first episode? What was the first episode?
The first episode, was that really it?
Yeah. Navigating the first year of marriage. It's sitting at just a little over 1,500 views. And I remember
that's just on YouTube.
Yeah.
On Spotify has over 800.
Yeah, which is pretty big for Spotify.
For our first podcast. I mean, that was pretty good. We were very shocked that many people tuned in to
we really were. I remember the first time that we it was Monday, we posted an episode, we had YouTube YouTube Studio open, we were checking everything out, and you looked at me and I remember this so vividly and you were like, Hallie, this has in the first hour it had 500 views and it was our first video. We had no subscribers and you're like, Hallie, I think we could do this.
Yeah. And then we started taking it a lot more seriously, but also we didn't have these mics. We didn't have setup. We had to really get into it for us to be able to feel comfortable spending this kind of money on mics and all of that and getting a proper setup. But man, was it worth it?
I mean, yeah, we started with nothing. Literally, I mean, you guys know we've had those little mics forever. Sylvie's driving me nuts.
Okay, we're going to have to take a pause.
Okay, so we started with mics. As you guys know, they're these little ones that are not meant for doing podcasts, but that's what we had.
No, they're not. And they weren't the best quality, and people definitely weren't afraid to let us know, okay?
But it was good. We needed to know because that was what it took for him to get us some good stuff. And I'm happy that we're here now.
All right, so navigating the first year of marriage, okay? To take you back on a little bit of a history lesson, we explained how our first year of marriage went, like graduating college, getting engaged, and dealing with all of that, having 2 weddings.
Yeah. No, we talked about everything. And I'm going to be honest, you guys, we did not plan anything. We just winged it. You can
talked.
probably tell. We just completely were spewing words left and right, just, having a back and forth discussion, interrupting each other, not being aware of when one was talking, when the other was stopped. It was, for a first podcast episode, it could have been worse. And we've learned a lot since then, truly.
When we first started, we would get frustrated with each other.
Oh my gosh.
And it wasn't because of things that we would say. It was just we were just talking over each other. We were not communicating properly. We weren't on the same wavelength at the time. And it was really difficult. Everyone's podcasting is just easy. It's not that difficult. It's honestly a little bit of work.
A little bit. No, it's a lot of work. And we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. We love it so much. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, we did not do any planning. And if we had started doing some planning, that would have helped us to avoid, I think, a lot of arguments and a lot of frustrating conversations that we were having. Because we didn't know, we didn't plan to detail of okay, we're going to talk about this and you're going to maybe mention something like this. We do have it planned to an extent, but it is also a natural conversation. I always have points written down of things that I want to talk about. Or sometimes if we get a little off track, I look at our outline and I'm like, oh, we can go back to this. We had none of that. We had nothing in front of us. We just had our little mics sitting like this in our chairs when we did that right here. We actually did that in the sunroom. That was our first setup.
Yeah, and it was really, honestly, I enjoyed that setup much more. But as we got mics and stuff, we need something to set them on or clip them on. And so these things, they're kind of difficult. So now we have the table, which I love the table. And
I do too.
This set as our background kind of. Why did we start? First of all, why do we even start? Why are you guys watching us right now? Why did we start doing podcasts?
Comment while you're watching us. For me, I've really started to come into this more so now towards the end of the year as we've been doing this and gotten some good practice and really figured out a lot about ourselves and how we want to do this podcast. People, whenever, it's always kind of hard to say oh yeah, I have a podcast, because people are oh, they have one of 2 responses, what's it about? Or 2, oh, everybody has a podcast. Everybody has a podcast.
Wait. I guess anybody's allowed to start a podcast nowadays.
Oh, I'm so sick of that.
We get that comment quite often. But I think the main reason is because we had so much in common with other people who went through the same thing as us. And there are platforms out there who talk about similar situations, but there weren't any platforms out there that were the exact same as us. And so I don't think there's enough representation of what interracial couples go through, especially Indian American or even Asian American. There's a lot less of that. At least on YouTube and Spotify. Unless you guys know of others, let me know. I'd love to be able to connect with other people like that. So we thought that this would be a good idea to at least get it out there saying, hey, you're not alone.
And I totally agree with you. I don't think there's enough representation for specifically Asian American couples, or at least not that I've seen. And yeah, I just answered this. I met a few people over the weekend and I was telling them about our podcast and they were asking me what it was about naturally. And I said, well, it's about a lot of things. I don't, we do talk about a lot of things, and there are specific things that we really hone in on, relationships and being an interracial couple, but we also talk about other things. We've talked about college, about jobs, about mental health, a lot of other things. I think the main reason that we started this podcast initially was because we didn't have an outlet like this when we were going through these hard times as a couple. And to think that, you know, if there would have been something like this years ago where I could have watched somebody on a podcast be like, you know, it's going to be okay if you're in an interracial couple or in an interracial relationship and you're dealing with this is what you can do, or this is what worked for us. You know, that would have been so nice to have something like that, and we didn't. To know that we weren't alone, because it felt like we were.
I haven't even told you this, but when I was in high school, I used to go on Reddit and search how to tell my mom that I have a white girlfriend. And there was literally a thread for that.
We should make that into a podcast episode. Literally that title, How to Tell My Mom I Have a White Partner.
And so I remember seeing that thread, and it was kind of like, just tell her, like, what are you afraid? Like, there wasn't like that much good advice out there, right?
Yeah, nothing super insightful.
And I was just like, okay, I guess I'll do that. And it ended up going really bad. So Reddit's not the way to go sometimes, everyone. But, you know, just going back to like that outlet of not having what I was looking for at that age, you know, it would have been nice to have something like this. So at the end of the day, the reason I wanted to start this, and Hallie wanting to start this, like Hallie has her own reasons, but like for me, it's just like, if I was at that age again of 16, 17, 18, and I want to be able to ask these questions, this outlet, to be able to see something like this would have been amazing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
for me to be able to give that opportunity to somebody else at this age is something that I'm very passionate about. So that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. So then my question to you would be, what is the biggest thing, or what are some things that you've learned along this podcast journey that we've followed along?
So podcasting in general, I guess, first of all, this has been a great way for us to have like therapy in a way. Me and Hallie get to talk about things that we don't usually talk about, like on a day-to-day basis. We talk about very, like, hey, how's your day? How's work?
I mean, we have more deeper level conversations than that.
But this brings other topics up. Like when people submit, like me and like every time somebody submits, we get an email, and then I'll go in, I'll read the story while Hallie's in the kitchen or doing something on her laptop or computer.
Or we read it together.
And we'll like read it. I'll read it out loud, or we'll read it together, and we're just like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like we've not experienced that before, or we have experienced that before. We have so much good advice on this. And I think that of learning that so many people go through so many different and similar things is the biggest thing I've learned. Is like, there's so many people out there, guys. I can't tell you how many submissions we've had of questions and responses, and it has been the most insane thing. Besides that, the technical stuff of audio and video, I've enjoyed immensely learning how to make all this happen. But that's what I've learned. What about you, Hallie?
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, just to add on some of what you're saying. So with the technical aspect, it's like a whole production. Like this is just us. We don't have anybody helping us. We like it's just a two-person operation.
We'll put an
right?
application out for 2024 if anybody wants to help us produce this, because it is difficult with just me and Hallie.
It is, yeah. And we learned, you know, like we're always busy. We've always been busy, you know, with our full-time job, with our side gig, and then we do this. Didn't realize how much time it would take up that we love, truly. But it's like, wow, we really have to prioritize that. And make sure that we're doing it at the right times, and that we have enough time to edit and get clips and post and, you know, do all the things.
But it also goes to show, like, did we in the past sit down for an hour and just talk to each other? Like literally for an hour straight and just talk.
I mean,
we did sometimes, but
yeah.
The fact that we have to do it every week.
We get to do it every week.
Yeah, we get to do it every week.
It's amazing that we can do this.
But like the fact that we get to do it every week is something that I have enjoyed a lot. And I've learned things about Hallie that I didn't know. That she's like very good at telling stories and planning outlines and making this stuff happen.
Well, I learned that I always knew you're good with tech stuff, but you're the guy who edits all of this and does everything, and you just give me the clips that I need to post. And so we mesh very well together, and I think that's one of the bigger things that I've learned too, is how much better we work together than I thought. Because like I said, it takes a lot to make this happen. It takes a lot of planning, actually doing the thing afterwards. And then once you get all that done, you do it again the next week, right? So it's definitely been a learning process in that way. But as for the non-technical aspect, I've learned, more about you. I've learned really within the world of social media and content creation, how this stuff overall works and the planning aspect and everything. And, I feel like we've really learned to grow our audience and communicate better with our audience, which has been so special to me because so many of you, we're friends with you and you're in our Discord and you DM us on Instagram and you post stuff about us. And it's so cool. It is so cool. And it's so amazing and heartwarming to know that there are people out there that truly love our podcast and, would buy merch and would be interested in meeting up. That's so cool.
I mean, when we went to New York City this year and got to literally like every other block, like somebody would come up and be like, hey, are you guys that couple from TikTok? Oh my God, we love your podcast. I'm like, where are we right now? Like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh, remember the guy on the subway that came up to us and he's like, your podcast, has really inspired me. I'm in an interracial relationship. And I just was speechless. It was the coolest, most transformative experience.
That experience itself made this podcast, like when he came up to us and he said that, I was like, just for that single interaction, I'll do it for another 10 years just because of that. Because, it made me feel like we gave them a space to, come to because they were going through the same struggles that we went through,
Yeah, and it just is the coolest thing to know that what was once our pain and something that we really struggled with is now something that we can share our experiences with to people who can use it and it can benefit from it. And to me, that's the most heartwarming thing and the best gift that we could get this Christmas. It's amazing, and we love meeting you guys. If you ever come up to us, we love chatting. We love taking pictures. Like, it's so cool. And to know, you guys just have such a special place in our hearts. So we're so very, very, very thankful. And it's just so cool.
I'm very grateful for you all, and we've learned a lot, but we've also had a lot of struggles this year.
Oh man.
Going back to the social media stuff, it was hard to get started. Started with 0 Instagram followers this year, everyone. And we are at 12,000.
Almost like 12.2 maybe?
12.2 or something crazy. That number is nuts, okay? We went from 0 subscribers on YouTube to about over 1,600 at this point. And YouTube has been a huge struggle for us. It's hard to gain an audience of a large magnitude in a short period of time, but we're going to keep at it. Mm-hmm. We're going to keep going.
We're not going anywhere.
And with TikTok, we went from 0 to over 5,000 right now.
Yeah.
So even TikTok, it's difficult. It's hard. The struggle for me, is putting in so much work and some episodes not performing well, right? We had an episode that we did about college and we were like, oh my God, this is going to be so awesome. Like, so many people are going to relate to this because so much of our audience is in college, and it ended up not doing like the best.
It kind of flopped.
It didn't do the best. And we learned from our mistake of like, okay, we have our niche of relationship building, right? We are a relationship channel. We help others, not just interracial couples, but all kinds of relationships, right? And so we've learned that we need to try and figure out how to target that audience, right? And we've tried a lot of different things.
Yeah. I mean, that's been one great, thing that we've done this year is we have tried so many different things. Some of them do well, some of them do not. And again, that is something that we're learning because we started with an entirely new audience, an audience base of 0. So a completely new audience. It's not like we had all of our TikTok followers or Instagram followers like come over to our YouTube. No, like we started with nothing.
Yeah, and it's been huge because you guys have been submitting so many questions that have helped us come up with new ideas. So continue to do that on www.halfpastshot.com. That site stays open on Christmas Day.
Just casually plug the website.
Yeah. So
no, but like, yeah, no, I think the biggest struggle of this year is we have so many things that we want to say, so many things that we want to talk about. And it is hard sometimes to stay within that specific thing. Like, we love talking about relationships, but we're not relationship experts by any means. There are different things that we kind of want to switch it up and talk about sometimes. And it is hard because, there are some videos or some podcasts that we're like, oh my gosh, this one's going to kill it. It's going to do so great.
I know.
We planned it so much. And then it doesn't do very well and it doesn't reach that many people. And we're like, okay, well, every time I'm not going to say it's disappointing because it's not, because I use it as a learning experience. We both do. Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay, well, maybe we can't talk about this right now, but we can later on down the line once we continue to grow our audience, and there'll be people that are interested in that. For example, like the college one, or like when we had Liam on, when we had a guest, when we didn't fully talk about all the relationship stuff, we talked about other awesome stuff. But they're just, and again, I'm not going to say it's disappointing because it's not. It hurts a little bit. Just sometimes it's slightly a little bit when, you think something's going to do well and it doesn't take off like you expect.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing I think we've learned from that is not everything is going to reach our audience, right? And it's okay. Mm-hmm. We just have to learn from that and be like, okay, what didn't work about this? How can we fix it in the future? We did a pretty good job of combating a lot of that initial struggle we had at the beginning of what are we going to talk about? How do we gain this audience and keep the audience? And I think the people who have stuck around since the beginning, we really appreciate you guys. I can't even tell me, what episode did you guys start watching? What reel did you watch? What TikTok did you watch that made you click this video today?
What brought you here?
I need you to comment. I need you to comment that right now if you made it this far in the video.
Yeah. And, every single time that we're planning a podcast episode, we do ask ourselves, what does our audience want to watch? What do they want to see from us? What's going to make this special for them? And we really try and capture that in everything that we do. And we hope that you get something out of it.
Yeah. And I think we've already talked about the best parts about starting this podcast, like meeting all of you and talking back and forth and answering your guys' questions. We've built a lot of good connections through this podcast.
And one thing too that I know we've both grown in a lot is speaking.
Oh yeah, speaking.
And making it sound good.
The one thing that I still struggle with is saying so and and I'm trying to learn how to cut that out.
You're getting better.
I'm getting less cuts in the video now, which is good.
Yeah. I know personally for me.
I just said
You did. No. I've become a lot more confident since starting this podcast because, obviously I was in your YouTube videos before and all that stuff, but it didn't really give me an outlet to talk and give me a chance to be more confident and really put myself out there. I'm really putting myself out there by being in a podcast every week, by being vulnerable and open and talking about these things. And that's helped me to grow so much in my relationships with people, with my family, with you, with my friends. I mean, it's helped me just to understand, as cheesy as this sounds, it helps me to understand my feelings and emotions better. And then, being more confident in that sense, it's easier to talk to people and I can have good, deep conversations with people because it almost feels like I'm interviewing them for a podcast.
Yeah, it does. And that's really fun. It's nice.
It is. Yeah. And I feel like that's just helped me to, form better relationships with people. And just, it's led to so many good things in 2023. 2023 has been such a great, informative year for both of us. Everything that's happened has led us here. And I'm so thankful that everything happened the way that it did. There were good things, there were bad things. This was a really big year, arguably one of the biggest years, potentially the biggest year, besides, the year we got married and did our house stuff and everything. But this was a huge year for us.
Yeah, it was. It was a big year. There's two highlights that we wanted to share. One, our top episode of the year, which is why we broke up.
That one's a big one. That's at like 5,000 on YouTube.
I get it. There's so many of you out there who have broken up because of an external reason that sometimes you just can't control, right? And that was one of those episodes that I was really proud of because we got to talk about something that was really, really, really important, and that happened to us.
Yeah, and it was really deep and personal, and there was a lot there, a lot of details, and obviously it did well. I hope that it helped a lot of people. We've gotten so many DMs and messages and comments and everything since then of, I watched your Why We Broke Up episode. Thank you for making this. It really helped me out in this situation. It makes me know that I'm not alone and that there are other people in the world that go through this. And just knowing that is incredible. And, we're so grateful. We're so happy that we could put out something that would be so useful to you and something, that you could watch and know that you're not alone. You're never alone in anything that you're feeling.
Our last episode, or our worst performing, it's not bad, okay? Our worst performing episode had a bad day. And guess what? After we saw that number of views, we had a bad day. Okay?
Yeah, we had a real bad day.
But I think overall, if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it.
No, maybe
Give us
don't.
More views.
That's okay.
I'm just kidding. It wasn't the best. We had a bad day, literally. That's why we talked about it.
Yeah.
But I think we learned from that episode a lot.
Well, yeah, again, we've learned from that episode in many ways. It is painful for me personally, at least. I don't know about you. It is a little painful for me to go back and watch some of the episodes from earlier this year because I didn't know what I was doing.
But we made it work. All right. And now we're moving into 2024, which is why we're going to talk about just a few goals we have for this podcast, for you, Half Past Crew, for you. This is your time right now.
This podcast is for you, not us, baby. It's for you.
Okay, so number one, our goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yes.
Next year, it's got to happen.
Oh,
okay?
it's going to happen. I'm so confident that it's going to happen. I'm not worried about it at all.
Once that happens, we got to hit at least 30K on Instagram.
At least.
Okay? I want us to be able to grow an audience, to have an actual community. We want our Discord to grow. Okay, we have a Discord, Half Past Crew.
It's in our link tree in all of our bios.
It's in our link tree down in the description. Go check it out. We want to grow that. It's a great community. People chat in that general section. People chat back and forth. They talk about their lives. If anybody's struggling that day, they'll be like, hey, I'm kind of struggling. Would love to chat with you guys. We all chat together. It is a great community. We want to continue to grow that community. And we also make sure that that community gets notified of all the videos first. All right. So,
yeah, we have a great
put
community.
special stuff in there.
Oh, yeah, we do. We talk a lot. We talk every single day.
Yep.
We talk about lots of things. We have a lot of people who are very active and a lot of people who are just, everybody in there is welcoming and nice. And we talk about so many different things and we send memes. That's a fun one.
Love sending memes. We have a meme section.
We do. You should join the Discord for real. Yeah, and then sometimes, we do stream on Fortnite or on Twitch and we play Fortnite and we do, calls through Discord. Sometimes we join an open lobby so that anyone can come and talk to us and just have a good time.
Next goal, we're going to have many more interracial couples joining the podcast. They're going to be interviewed by us and we have a few lined up. We're very excited about it.
Oh, can't wait.
And it's just one of those things that we're going to be able to get new perspectives, some things that maybe we can learn from them and you guys can learn from them as well. So going to continue to grow. Next goal, Hallie.
Well, along with interracial couples, we're going to have a lot more individual guests as well, which we've already got lined up, which is very exciting because 2023, it was really the year of establishing our podcast. 2024, yes, we're established. We know what we're doing. We got the mic set up. We can have 2 other people on at a time.
Yeah.
We're ready to have guests on. So we're very excited about that.
And then finally, we need your help to find somebody in New York City to get on this podcast because we want to go back.
Please. Okay? Oh my gosh.
That's just a play to make an excuse to go to New York City again. We love New York City, but we want a purpose to go there. We don't want to just go there to go there.
We also want to business expense it.
Yeah. So
Please.
That's a big one. All right. Help us out.
But along with that note, yes, we are going to be, we have some guests that we're going to go traveling to see them. And like, how cool is that? We're so excited. We're not going to say where just yet, but if you are in New York City or, if you want to be on our podcast or if you know somebody in New York City, let us know and we'll hit them up.
And the last goal, maybe Hallie might have more, but the last goal that we have talked about is merch. It's coming. All right. It's coming. It's going to be great. It's going to be perfect just for you. It's going to be themed half past crew or half past chat, but half past crew. It's going to be great. I love it. I love the idea. It's going to be awesome. That's all I have in terms of goals. Hallie, do you have anything else you want to say?
Well, to, piggyback off of that, that's arguably what I'm most excited for, the merch.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited to wear it myself, but just thinking about potentially
others
seeing other people wear it, I think I might cry.
I would literally
so cool.
cry.
I know. I mean, it's so cool, and we're trying to make it look good. Been working on it for a while, but there's some things that we're touching up and we're trying to make look better. We're sticking to a very basic color scheme. We're not getting too crazy on you because we like our neutrals, and we think you do too. My last goal that I have is just to be able to connect with so many more of you in 2024, whether that be through social media, through meeting up, through joining our Discord, through being in our podcast, whatever it is. We want to connect with so many more people. And I guess that comes with building our platforms as well. Like we said, we do want to build our subscriber count. We want to build our Instagram and TikTok following. We want to do all that. But, me personally, I am very big on making genuine connections with people. And the more of you that I can do that with, the happier I will be.
Yes.
So please, let's do it. Let's be friends. Stay a while. Maybe we have a lot of things coming up.
Yeah.
That we're very excited about. It's only going to get bigger and better from here. So we're so thankful that you've been along with us all of 2023 through our ups and downs and our rough patches. 2024 is going to be great.
It's going to be amazing. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. I just want you to know that we love you more than anything in the world, okay?
We do.
We make this podcast for you guys each and every week and want to continue to broaden our horizons and give you the content and attention you deserve, okay? For the last time in 2023, guys, thank you for watching.
I'm emotional.
Half Past Job. We'll see you next year in 2024.
Good night, everybody. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Is that what we're doing right now?
Let's just spitball. Just
Okay,
don't
but,
even think.
But
Just
I,
go.
I can't sing.
Okay. You ready? Wait, no. Okay, so I start. I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been, oh God,
hoping
so
that you
very
drop in.
nice. And then you interrupt.
I'll hold your hand.
Honey, this is terrible.
I know.
At least try.
My mother will.
No,
That's
okay.
you.
My mother will start to worry.
Beautiful. What's your hurry?
My father will be pacing the floor.
Listen to that fireplace roar.
So really, I'd better scurry.
Beautiful. Please don't hurry.
But maybe just to have a drink more.
I'll put some records on while I pour.
The neighbors might think.
Baby,
Stay.
don't hold out.
Baby, it's cold outside.
That's it.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. This episode is out on Christmas.